I just came to think about a controversial person here in Sweden who recently, a few months back, I think it's 2-3 months back, he he's done a lot of straight up criminal things through his life, but he's always worked his way back into success, financial success. But regardless of that, he recently got caught because prostitution in Sweden is illegal
Okay.
for the person purchasing, but it's legal for the prostitute to receive the money.
Yeah.
And so basically, this person got caught paying a prostitute for the services that she provided. And his entire business, his entire reputation, everything, family, friends, his girlfriend at the time, and also at the time kids, completely disregarded him. They dismissed him as this horrible human being. And the media, I mean, you can't even imagine what the media did to him. Like, basically, they completely slandered him. And well, I'm sure there can be a lot of problems with like prostitution rings when they are abused. That's obviously a problem, but
Yeah.
that's not 100% of sex workers, of course not. And well, of course, also in a country like Sweden where it's illegal, it kind of by definition becomes, or it can at least very easily become, abuse, or people are used for these providing these services. But I don't really know where I'm going with this. But
No, I'm glad you told me this story about that. Who is the person?
Paolo Roberto.
Okay, yeah, I love to hear about these stories in history because just internationally, it is. I wish all very other cultures would learn things from other cultures, but I find a lot of people are very insular. But I want to research that because that doesn't make sense. Like, and you were saying he's done other criminal things in his life, but they let him back and accepted him back into society. Except he does something like he gets caught having like. Did the sex worker say he did a bunch of bad stuff, or was it just a regular sex worker transaction? Like,
well, basically, the police did a raid at this apartment that the services were being provided, and so he got caught in the act, and so caught by the police, and eventually the media found out, and there was never a conversation about what kind of service was being provided, but everyone's assumption, including everyone hearing about it and also the media, the assumption were that obviously it's sex. And I don't know, maybe that's true, I don't know. But even then, there was never conversation about, is it okay, is it not? It's just people assume that it's not okay.
oh my goodness. And so he's been just ostracized by society. Just he
Absolutely. And I still follow him. I'm a big fan because he has done some questionable things through his life. I still am a huge fan of, because he talks a lot about fitness and staying motivated and staying and working towards what you want to achieve. And so that's why I'm a huge fan of what he does. And since he has reached the top and then been cast down to the bottom and then gotten to the top again and then repeat twice, thrice, and 4 times over. That's why I'm a big fan of him. But yeah, so right now he is still kind of gotten back to something. He has gotten some of his companies back, and I can see on his Instagram that he does have contact with at least his son. I don't know about the daughter. But the girlfriend at the time is completely out of the picture. And yeah.
oh wow. Wow. I thank you for letting me know about him. I would like to research and I gotta tell you, I mean, I've had I'm out to everybody. That's another blessing. Like I know most of the women that I know, and some of the men that I know hide the fact that they do sex work. They're many of the women I know, well over half, probably three quarters, are like, my parents don't know, my family doesn't know. And they have a different name online. They never show their face in a lot of their pictures. They have protocol and boundaries to respect. And I 100% honor and respect. I would never reveal anybody's name or anything. But at the exact same time, I am in the privileged position to be out, and I take full advantage of it because that's what the freedom allows. I'm like, hey, I've had the conversations with my parents. My father didn't like it for a long time, and my father still doesn't like it. But I'm like, my father has been out of my life. I'm like, you've been not in the picture since I was 1 year old. So like, I only told him about it honestly this year. My father's one of the last people to know, and I just sent it to him in a text. And we had 4 or 5 months of not speaking, and he slandered me and was like, oh my goodness, you're a disgrace to the family. And I'm like, how am I a disgrace to the family when I'm professionally, consensually, honestly doing sex work where I'm healing people? I've got 2 awards in my industry. I'm recognized nationally and in North America for beautiful art and positive erotica that I've made. And you were divorced by a woman because you beat her and were kicked out of the country because you did crime so bad. How are you calling me the problem? And I'm 43 years old when I'm saying this, but I'm like, even if I was 19 or 21 and then just legal to do sex work, I would still say I'm proud of what I'm doing, and I will not accept slander from my father or my family or society. But I know a lot of other people, if that's your situation and you just don't have that freedom, or you have to keep it private for the sake of your job because you might, get your life messed up like Paulo or whatever, like I respect that, and I never will out people. But I am at the same time, I'm like, I'm out, and I think we should live in a world where a man, a woman, any person should be able to show their body nudely in a lot of places, not everywhere. I'm like, I'm not trying to show a bunch of kids nude. I'm like, I know there's time and place for everything. Like, I'm not whatever. But I'm like, at the same time, like, so many kids understand ideas way beyond what parents think they understand. And kids are like, yo, why are you making a big deal of nudity? Parents are tripped out about nudity way more than children are. But, there's a difference between nudity and sexuality, and I'm very aware of that. And I don't think that like a fucking scene is appropriate for like a 6-year-old kid to watch just at regular. But like, if a child does see sex, you just explain it to them, but you just don't make it wrong and taboo. Like, there's ways to make it all healthy. But